Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
Yo.
And we were able to wrangle up the one and only Ethan this week.
It's him.
I stopped dying for a day.
Yeah.
Stopped dying for one day so I could be here. Don't worry, my regularly scheduled dying resumes tomorrow.
Don't worry, I got better.
Don't worry, I'm better. I still feel bad.
So how's your week's been? I know everyone here has been really clawing at information about you, you know?
Yeah, that's because it takes a lot of effort to make phone calls, and
Yeah.
everybody wants them. Everybody's like, "How are you?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Shit, thanks for asking." And then I just don't elaborate. Someone's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Tummy aches." That was my text message response.
Nice.
I don't. What do you want me to say, man? It's
Right.
like I got just Google Crohn's disease. Maybe you'll figure out what's wrong with me. Like,
Right.
stop asking me.
Your bowels how it out to get you.
Right? Yeah. No, exactly. My body is attacking itself, and they picked the worst place to attack, my tummy.
Yeah.
Like that's. I mean, no, my weeks have been pretty bad. It takes 7 weeks to get my freaking infusion done. So they're like, blood work's gonna take forever because they have to make sure I don't have all these 20 things. And then blood work took forever, and then insurance took forever. Freak insurance! I'm always hate insurance.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so every day,
I always hate insurance.
right? And every day I called them, I got a different result. So like day one, they'd be like, "Oh, we don't have anything," and then day two, they're like, well, "I don't know what that guy was talking about. It'll be
like a couple things."
No, they were like, "Nah, that'll be done tomorrow." So like day one, they're like, "We've got nothing. Don't know the paperwork. It never got sent in. Don't know where that doctor is."
Great.
Day two, the guy's like, "I don't know what that guy was talking about. It'll be done tomorrow."
It's on my desk right here.
Day three, yeah, I called them the next day. They're like, they said call tomorrow. So I'm like, all right, they said call today. It'll be done. And that guy's like, don't know what that one was talking about. I mean, like 24 to 72 business days later, twerp.
See, what
right?
they really forwarded you to was the disorganized hotline.
Yeah, exactly. Every day was different, and I called them every day.
What
They're
is
to
it?
give you the
What is
impression that we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
And so then after later twerp,
What was
I
that
called them.
in Alice in Wonderland, the bizarre room? You just
Yeah.
go through different doorways and you're on different sides of the wall.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Yeah, that was like
that, but in phone form.
exactly. Yeah, and then I call them, and they're like, "Oh, it's done." And I was like, "What?"
Are you sure?
And I literally on the phone, I was like, I feel like the dog that caught the mail truck. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to be honest. I have to ask you now. It's a stupid question. What do I do now?
Right.
They were like, it's approved. And I was like,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, thanks for the confetti rockets, but what do I do now? And they were like, well, you can wait for the people at the clinic to call you. And I was like, no, I don't wait anymore.
No,
we don't do
I'm
that.
done waiting.
You do realize that this was supposed to be, I was told this was supposed to be 2.5 weeks, and it's been 5.
Yeah.
It's been 5. I'm tired of dying. I'm tired of being anemic. Like, please, my resting heart rate can't be 130 anymore.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm better. Well, not really better, but I have my prescription medicine. I'm now allowed to have.
Marginally
apparently.
improved.
They're no longer dangling my treatment over my head, right? Well, you get like it's that dollar bill. You gotta be quicker than that, right? They're no longer dangling it over my head. Like I feel like I beat the boss. Legit though, I couldn't help but like this is the nerdiest shit ever. Sorry, but like I couldn't help but feel like I did actually beat the boss and unlock a new area.
Yeah.
Because I go into my doctor's office and pass by this door, right? And it says like infusion center. Well, the door's always closed and always locked 100% of the time. And to get in, you have to ring a doorbell. Well, if you're not a patient, then they're not going to know who you are. There's going to be like, they're going to answer your question and not let you in. But today, right, I finally like beat the boss and rang the doorbell, and I don't even know how.
You've unlocked a
But
new area.
they recognized me. Like, I don't even know how, but
Really?
whenever I rang the doorbell, I was 15 minutes early for my appointment, too. So, like, maybe they just guessed it was me.
Right.
But, like, I was early for my appointment. I wasn't on time. So, it's like, I didn't figure that. But I rang the doorbell. Somebody opened the door and was like, hey, come on in, Ethan. And I was like, what? I just unlocked a new area of the game. Where like they open the door and they're like, all right,
we've been waiting for
right,
you
exactly.
all this time.
Oh, this kid, he's level 20. He could come in. All this little plebeian, they close the door behind him, quick.
This guy's
right?
got all the prerequisites.
So they let me in and they're like, all right, well, just give me your date of birth again. And so I was like, okay. So I give it to him. And then they're like, all right, well, getting started in their paper, right? So they're like, again, because they're looking at it. Like, all right, let's go do your weight. And apparently they like weren't 100% sure of my weight. And they were like, yeah, so like, what's your weight? And I was like, I didn't want to do the math for kilograms, but yeah, no, I lost 30 pounds in a month.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was really interesting, and it was pretty chill.
Well, speaking of things that have been long awaited.
Oh yeah.
God.
Well, I mean, this
Oh.
was. I
have we
mean,
mentioned this before?
Oh, have
we
we?
had to have dropped the name.
We have mentioned this movie at least 2 or 3 times before because Ethan specifically had said,
I found it once in Walmart, and I said, "Wow, this looks like." And the quote,
Yes.
"This looks like garbage. We have to watch it, Dylan."
Right.
Because it was called VelociPastor.
The
And I read the back of it, and I
VelociPastor.
remember reading it to this day, where it says something along the lines of a Catholic pastor gathers an artifact from China that he gives him the strange power to turn into a velociraptor. And now, scared at first, with the help of a prostitute, he uses it to fight crime, ... and ninjas. That's what the back of it said. Well, this isn't the dot. That's not. There's just one dot, but still.
Nice.
yeah.
A hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime, ... and ninja. This is the back of it said. And I was like, we need to watch this. And he was like, we're getting something else today. I'm not buying that. And I was like, no,
Right.
please. We need to watch. And then ever
No,
since
please.
then we couldn't find it. Well, we found that online.
This was a tough sell even
And
for
we-
me.
And I'm not going to say it was a good movie.
I'm sorry, what is this?
Killer sofa.
Listen, if we want to, what's the budget on that? I'll look up the budget on that. We're looking for the lowest budget films here.
Oh my
I don't know about
God.
that.
Well, I mean, currently, VelociPastor is the lowest budget film I've ever seen with a budget of an expensive pickup truck at $36,000.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the entire budget.
I wouldn't even call it an expensive pickup truck because most
these days trucks are
most
pretty,
nice Ford F-250s are like $70,000, $80,000.
yeah, I mean,
That's literally a fraction of that.
I guess maybe new. Maybe I'm thinking of used because I think the one I'm talking about is used.
Oh yeah.
The one I'm thinking of
Oh,
has a
man.
5 out of 10. Wow, they called this straight up average. Honestly,
That is
5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 stars, bro. 5 out of 5
I,
stars.
I wouldn't say that.
This was an amazing movie.
5 out of 5 is giving it. Oh gosh, dude, I just don't even want to start. With
I'd
this.
watch it every day of the week. It has 2.5 stars. Yeah, look at that. I'd watch it any day of the week, every day of the week.
You liked it that much?
It was so bad, dude.
It was so
It
bad.
was so
It was
bad.
fucking
Okay,
hilarious.
So
how
you
bad
okay?
it
I
was.
just want to let me just set a precedent because this is how the movie sets the precedent for itself.
Mhm.
We're not even like again. Oh God, it's hard to even think about where to begin. You have to like throw all idea of exposition out of the window
Mhm.
of like setting up a character and what their motivation is and what we're doing and conversating. We're not even 2 minutes into the film, and we get a brief sermonette from our main character, and then he exits the building. First exterior shot of the movie, and his parents are apparently outside across the street,
Right.
and
Standing in front of their car.
sitting in front of their car, and the car blows up.
He looks at them and says, "Mom and Dad," and then
Oh,
waves.
Awful dialogue.
Right.
And again, I'll probably talk about this more later, but the costume design, it is literally costume store, party store costumes.
Mhm.
He's wearing what's supposed to be some sort of reverend's robe,
Right.
clergy
They're so
robe.
bad.
It is literally, you can find at, what is it, Halloween Direct? What is it called? The
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big
it's
Halloween store that everyone
Right.
knows about. Planet Halloween, whatever it is.
Planet Halloween.
You know, anyway.
the big Halloween story.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
big Halloween store that comes around every year.
Right.
Anyways, they you could probably buy a higher quality version from that place
Right.
than what they had for this film.
Mhm.
So to get to the real kicker, like I'm talking about, car supposedly blows up.
Mhm.
And when the car blows up, it smash cuts to him panicking and screaming.
Zooming in on his eyebrows
Oh
and the
my
sweat on
God.
his lip. The
Yeah.
zooms, the shaky. It was filmed by a 12-year-old with an iPhone. It had to have been. It was the camera that was so bad.
But it cuts back to the what you would imagine what should be the remains of a car, but it just says VFX car on fire.
Yeah. And that's it.
And we had to pause for a bit because
It does that
things
twice.
happened. Yeah, no, it cut, and it stays
Oh,
there
it
for a
cuts
long
3
time.
or 4 times.
Yeah, it stays there for a long time.
It's a little back and forth while he just sits there and loses
Screams,
his mind.
yeah.
Right.
Now, all I'm going to say is at this point I was disappointed. I was like, this may be the first movie ever that we have to just not finish. Because if these things keep happening, I don't want to watch the movie.
It was real close.
I really thought this was going to be a bad movie, but at least it tried to like take itself seriously. And immediately the movie's like, no.
Oh, no.
We're not even trying to put a burning car with bad VFX here. We're going to tell you that it's just VFX. We don't care.
As a
Frick
placeholder.
You. It was a big old middle finger. And I was like, oh, man. This is what this movie's like trying to be funny because it knows it's bad, which I knew would be the case, but it's not. They're like not even trying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty disappointed. But then luckily the rest of the movie helped. But I got to be honest, the ending 30 minutes killed it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I'll be honest.
Let's not go too far ahead.
No. The ending 30 minutes killed it for me.
Right.
Up to there, I'll be honest, funny movie. I was enjoying the experience for how bad it was.
Right.
Ending 30 minutes was just like brutal.
Mm-hmm.
The first time you see the Velociraptor, funniest shit ever. Yes. It's like a paper mache dinosaur head.
Oh, God.
And it's like the guy's like shooting at it and he just keeps like getting bit on his legs and you just keep hearing pow, pow, pow.
Right. He's on the ground like just shuffling, not even like actually struggling.
Getting eaten by a paper mache dinosaur and just unloading and nothing's happening. And then you see him get up later and try to shoot it and just...
I didn't think he was going to get up from that. I thought that was
him
being killed.
I thought he had no more legs, but again, whatever, suspend disbelief. You get to see the full... It was great. And again, because we're not going to get there yet, it's the end of the movie. But the second time you see the Velociraptor, it was again funny, but it was funny because how shitty it was.
Right.
It was not nearly.
It's because the first time you see the Velociraptor, or I'm sorry,
the VelociPastor,
which
by the way is unironically said in the movie once by a character. Yeah. Whenever he's like trying to kill him, that he's like, "Nighty night, VelociPastor," because he's. And I was like, a character was not.
Do you have any last word?
Any last word? Yeah. No.
Anyways, as I was saying,
I was so disappointed by that.
the first time you see the Velociraptor in its glory, it is shrouded by the darkness of night.
Uh-huh.
It's the head's way bigger,
and it also is kind of like how they would do it in Jurassic Park, where there are these close-up scenes that happen fast that you get enough detail. You understand what's happening, but this is just a shitty version of that.
Yeah.
So you just get to see it.
It was like well shot, but
this is just awful.
The 12-year-old shaky cam really comes in and shines through there because it helps.
But what I'm saying is like
it
gives light to that kind of scenario, whereas at the end it's in broad daylight.
I'm pretty sure it's different. Different
full revealed
because
it is the full. They're the same thing. I believe
because the head looked way bigger in the scene where he's fighting the first guy, but in the other thing, it's just some crappy costume.
Yeah.
Well, no, and I think it's the same thing because
I think the first one's
it's
1,000 times better.
I think it's the same thing. I think it's just how they shot it.
Yeah.
Because whenever you see the shots, the teeth and the jaw move the same way.
I mean,
and it just is the same shitty paper mache. I think it's all how it's shot, how it's like shot up underneath it and made it look larger than life. But I really do think it's literally just the same thing.
Regardless, the first one was a million times better. Is what I'm trying to say.
Like I said, because they kept it hidden.
Not the point. What I'm saying is the first scene was good, and I was like,
exactly.
this is like funny and like, all right, this is cool. But then they get to the part where you get this full this is just shitty costume,
right?
Where it's like, the head's the only thing with detail on it because they shot a good scene with the head. The rest of the costume's trash.
It's like the same thing that happened with Alien. The reason why Alien was, I think, a good monster in the first film, kind of, was because of the fact that it was not so
you didn't see it as much.
You didn't see it as much, and it wasn't so blatantly there. Right. Whereas like the second one, there's like literally 100 of them in a hallway, and you're like, okay, it kind of lessens the blow a little bit. Is what it feels like. This definitely felt like that in a very, very cheap way. It's like same costume, different shots. One is making it seem a little bit more obscure, whereas one is like it's literally flopping around in broad daylight, and you're like, wow, that looks like a piece of shit now.
Again, zoomed out in a crappy costume, just getting slapped around.
Yes.
And like it just looks bad. They're not even not even trying. Like it just
the worst.
The first half of the movie, again, there's just so much dumb shit going on. And like there's like I can think of a specific point.
The freaking dialogue, dude.
I
can think of but I can think of a specific point, kind of, whenever I just think like, it's not that I lost interest, because again, the whole movie didn't really have me interested. It was just bad. Right. This is definitely a background everyone's like drinking and playing card games, and then looks up and is like, "What the freak is on the TV?" Right? This is that kind of movie where you just put it on randomly and just see if anyone notices, right? Yes. But like,
it is a grand total of an hour and 15 minutes, and it feels like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it felt like an hour.
It felt so rushed. But do you want to know what, like, the sensation that I got halfway through the film?
What?
I was like, this is like an ADHD fever dream.
No, the guy had to have been on drugs, man.
I don't know what it was, but I was like, I can't keep up. Dude, I was like, it's so random.
The random guy going to war scene and his wife blowing up.
Oh my god!
His
that was the father. That was
ridiculous. Father Stewart.
Yeah, Father Stewart does it. His wife. It's like, how did you get to Vietnam? And then she blows up, and I thought that she was a bomb. No, it was just a crappy explosion, and the guy was like, Viet Cong trip mine. I was like, that was a trip mine? Yeah. She blew up from the center mass.
The dude's like,
not only that, but
yeah,
literally,
I think she's gone. I was like, you think?
I'm telling you, she was mere inches away from him, and then exploded.
Yeah, and basically it was just, by exploded, we mean that they got a big old bucket of red,
and they
red corn syrup with a little bit of flour in it, and they mixed it around, right? Red corn syrup, a little bit of flour, right? Lots of red food coloring, and they took that bucket, okay, and they green screened out the guy holding the bucket and just splashed that bucket in the air. Right. That's what it looks like.
We're left to assume that, and then they just rather than an actual explosion, she just morphs into viscera.
And then the goo goes everywhere, and then they took a 12-year-old, they gave him Photoshop, they told him to put some guts in the middle. Right? That's what it looks like, right? And he's just covered, and they're like, yep, smoking a cigarette, don't think we could do anything for her. Right. Made no, like, why do we have to go about him going to war? And then it crops back to the exorcism thing.
Right.
And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What is going on?
The most nonsensical scene I can think of.
Oh, God.
But yeah, no, I got to be honest. Like,
that now holds the #1 spot for me.
Our lead actor, like, I give kudos to the actor.
His sweaty lip really carried the film.
For really selling it.
Sweaty lip.
For really selling it, because he really did go whole hog into this. I feel
he tried so hard.
Dude,
Everyone did.
But the hard part is, like, it's just...
It was bad.
The way in which he talked
was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
A little unnatural.
All of the scenes where he looks super serious, there's only one time in the movie where him looking serious made sense, and then they made a joke out of it.
Right.
And I was like, come on now. We had one thing here. We had one thing, and you couldn't have just let us have the one thing, because he looked serious the whole movie, and that was a funny thing.
Not
and
even
now,
a one.
Exactly. I was like, now, right? The whole movie, he's got this stupid, serious-looking face on randomly, and he's like, this can't be, all the time, right? Talking like he's some action movie character. These like
narrating a trailer for an action movie.
Exactly. Yeah. And so
empty? No, not empty. I'm hungry. I was like, oh god.
Right. It should end every time he finishes a sentence. Right. Exactly. Like there should be a jump cut, and like but then like they have this one scene, and they just don't give it to us, and I was like, man, like.
No.
If they just let him have the one serious scene, I feel like I would have hated
what
the
scene
ending.
was that you're talking about?
It's right after like they kill his girlfriend, right?
Oh,
and he looks up and he has a serious face, and tonally it fits for the first time in the movie. Right. His serious face fits the tone where they kill him.
Miracle.
And then it crops to the people, and they're completely silent. And it crops back to him, and he's serious, and it crops back and forth a few times, and then he screams, and they jump, and they make a joke out of it. And it was like, tonally, we had one time that you could have given him a serious face and could have made him like stand up and do something and made the jokes happen shortly after. But instead, they didn't even give us that. I got to be honest. Like I said, the whole ending of like 30 minutes of the movie, I was like, yeah, no.
Blue-balled?
Not even that. Because again, the whole movie's bad. Like, this is me giving, the whole movie's definitely a 5 out of 10 on, right? But then right at that 30 minutes to the end mark, it's like a 2 out of 10.
Right.
It's not funny anymore. Right. I don't think that the jokes are landing. I don't think that the VelociPastor suit looks stupid.
Oh yeah. Like I said,
that was to be the big reveal.
Right. Exactly.
Like you're getting full body shots of this thing. And
this had to have been cringe. Like,
it looks like a deformed
They had $36,000, and all of that budget went to the first Velociraptor scene.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know about that. I think
every last penny. No.
The thing is, I think that a lot of it went to the costume design and then making that scene look nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least trying.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, that's it. So the rest of it,
the only thing even remotely close to it.
That was the second picture right there. That one, that's the picture that I saw on the back of the box, and I was like, man, this is going to be bad.
That is horrendous.
It's just like...
It is a hunchback.
Oh, yeah, and then the girl's she's fighting the people in a leotard.
Right.
Like, I don't know why she picked a leotard as her
outfit. Where did she even get a leotard?
Oh, man.
Yeah, check it out.
Oh, my God.
In the dark of night. A little glimpse of what the suit is.
It's
vile.
It's just so it's so cheap.
A mockery of prehistory.
The amount his face also toward the end his face gets stained with how much of the fake blood is on there.
Oh, God.
So his whole face looks Donald Trump orange times 2. Donald Trump orange times 2, right?
Oh,
and then they clearly made his eyes more blue. Scroll up. Look at his eyes in that scene and that one. Like they clearly made his eyes more blue, right? Well, and so like they gave him like colored contacts or something. And so like he has this like they keep wiping off the blood of his face clearly because his face is turning orange, right? And so he's got this blood.
Dude, they have a shot of the actor in the suit. You can see him in his mouth.
Wait, where?
On the image that Ian is under right now, like.
Oh yeah. Scroll right there. Yeah, to the right a couple. That one, yeah, that one. Click it. Oh my gosh,
he looks terrified.
Let's look at that thing. I would be terrified too.
Oh.
Wow, that must have been really difficult to operate.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure he's leaning forward to get to that hole to conversate, but I'm almost certain
you just stand up in the back,
That's why there's this hump here, because it is perfect human height to stand up in.
You could tell. You could tell.
That's not even a velociraptor. It just is.
It's a shitty T-Rex.
It looks like
it's an abomination.
It looks like it looks like something Godzilla would shit out. You know what I mean?
Do not besmirch the name of Godzilla.
Did you not hear what I just said?
No, I know.
Okay, cool.
I know.
This looks like if Godzilla was to shit out a little turd that somehow sprung to life, it looks like that.
Ugh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Somehow adjacent. But
it just ain't pretty.
And there's also...
Ouija shark?
Ouija shark.
Oh, Ouija shark was another one that I wanted us to watch. It says, we're going to need a bigger board.
Oh,
yeah, I really wanted to watch that. Is that Wait Fair at the budget? That's got to be on the list, too.
From the studio that brought you VelociPastor.
Oh, no.
It's made by the same people?
Stop it.
I'm going to look up that one. That's our next shitty movie, then. Dude. I'm okay with this. It's a shark. It's a little bit easier. I feel like they can do better with this one.
Yeah.
That's big, maybe. That's real hard maybe from me.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Honestly, no, I'm looking up Ouija shark as we speak.
There's this like weird moment in the film where like he's like getting this love interest with this hooker, and it's God. It's so awkward.
But he's a pastor, and they tried to make him. They're like teenagers. Oh man, it's.
But they're not. They're like in their 20s.
No, but they're
30s.
acting like teenagers, even though she's a whore, so that she shouldn't be acting this weird about a relationship.
Grown adults playing the part of younger.
like she's a prostitute. She should not be acting this weird about intimacy, right? And he's a pastor who's never touched a woman in his life, I guess. So like,
apparently,
took the oath of chastity.
Yeah, that's fine at 13, apparently. It's just, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, for real.
At a loss for words.
Can I also just
talk about how they met?
Oh God.
Oh yeah,
bumping into each other at the street.
Yeah, and then him being like, "Is that your first time?" And she was like, I guess. She means, I guess, because that's the first time she's turned to a dinosaur.
Her pimp sends her to the park.
But he thinks that, he's drowning in the pussy.
Frankie Mermaid.
Frankie Mermaid. They call him that because he's drowning in the bitches.
Oh,
that's what they
one of the more... just so bad.
Honestly, Frankie Mermaid is my favorite character in the movie. Who is everyone's favorite character in the movie?
Oh, man.
Everyone has to have a favorite character. You're not allowed to not have a favorite character.
I like
Frankie Mermaid.
Our guy's name is Doug, our lead character.
Right, Doug Jones.
Doug's brother.
Doug's brother. I feel like he's picking that one out of spite, but also good choice.
Right. Dude, I fucking hated Doug's brother.
Really?
I could not stand him.
He died quick, at least.
Good.
His name is Sam the White Ninja.
Sam the White Ninja. He is white. Dude, Ouija Shark has a 1.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh,
damn. No. Keep in mind, that is significantly worse than VelociPastor has on IMDb.
Damn.
I can't imagine
as if we have a good
worse.
Ouija Shark 2.
Anyways,
no.
What I was wanting to say is that there is no lie 3 different montage sequences.
Oh, no.
and each one of them is some flavor of too long and pseudo trippy.
Right. The third one is what felt like it dragged on for me. I could not stand the third one.
You talking about the sexy one?
If that's what you want to call it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Guys, wait.
Quote unquote.
This is a separate movie.
There's probably 15, 20 minutes worth of like montage in this film, but it's like, dude, there's only an hour worth of exposition.
Okay, so
because the montages aren't giving us any story, by the way. No. Sorry, continue.
How much?
Oh God.
We did some research. We found out that the $2 million or less of a budget for a film is considered a low-budget film.
Right. Yeah.
We found out that Sharknado has exactly $2 million budget, barely a low-budget film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's super popular, right? We found out that Chud, which I'm going to go on ahead and say it, haven't seen Sharknado yet. Pretty sure Chud's 1,000 times better than Sharknado.
Oh,
I'm going to say it. I'll see Sharknado.
By a wide margin.
But I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
So I'll make the decision and watch Sharknado eventually.
So let me say this, is that in Chud's defense, because of what Chud is, it is an 80s action flick that was leaning heavy into...
Oh, maybe in the 80s, $1.25 million was worth more. So maybe it balances out a bit.
But what I'm saying is that
it's still pretty low budget though if it's just above $2 million.
They didn't go out there with the intention of making a bad 80s action flick. Right. They go there to make a nice, good...
made an effort.
And so what I'm saying is, by irony, a lot of times, those bad movies were people trying to make a good film and it just not landing and it being bad. Now we're in this renaissance, or at least we were back in the 2000 teens, of like, people are like, we have to make these bad movies on purpose. Sharknado being one of them. And like what I'm saying is they're kind of
bad
right. So that's what I'm saying is like we're in this Chud, I would say, is removed from these self-aware bad movies.
That's what low budget.
But low budget.
I'm trying to get to a point here.
Sorry.
So we found out that's what that means, right? Mm. We found out that a lot of these low budget movies, even Killer Sofa has a $2 million budget.
Really?
Wait,
right.
Really?
These things all have more, and it comes to the point when we get to VelociPastor, which has a $36,000 budget.
That is nothing.
Like that's that's
bottom of the barrel.
That's a nice pickup truck budget, right? Okay.
I wouldn't even say nice.
Again, I'm talking about nice used pickup truck because nobody buys new anymore. That's just debt for no reason. Right. I mean, right? And also you can't find new anymore because of the freaking stupid ass market. Thanks, Chovid. But so that's a good pickup truck. Like
that's a subcar, or that's a compact,
or like a new car. Yeah, like that's a new car.
You sure
budget.
could buy a vehicle,
right? Yeah,
you could get a 4-door sedan.
We can all settle. I can all settle here. That's a good down payment on a house.
Yeah,
budget,
you're right.
Oh,
you're right.
Exactly. But instead, they made this. Right now, let's take that. What do you think, Ouija Shark? A film made by the same people who made VelociPastor. What do you think the budget is?
I'm scared to even hazard a guess.
You have to have a guess. I'll give you a hint. It's not as much as VelociPastor.
Is it not as much? It's lower?
We're not quite at $36,000.
What?
I'm going to say $24,000.
Okay.
I'm
bold.
I'm going to go with $30,000.
Wow, you guys are really bold. It was $300 Canadian.
What?
300 Canadian, $216. It says the film, I'm reading this from Google. Film review, it's from some website. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not on like Wikipedia, so I haven't like fact checked. I don't really know. But from Google, I just looked up Ouija Shark budget. The film was shot on a budget of 300 Canadian, a prop shark taking up the majority of the budget at 200 Canadian. Most of the actors worked in exchange for exposure. As Brett Kelly's films have gained worldwide audiences and thousands of views on streaming services because I guess they're so bad.
Infamous. So the actors work for free?
I'm guessing because they didn't get paid.
Not a cent.
I'm going to go on ahead because we're probably going to take forever to watch it. I'm going to go on ahead and just click on images. And what am I looking at?
Yeah, that's a great question.
No.
That sounds like the $64,000 question. Or should I say $300 question?
You're right. $216 question.
Right. You know how in Google how they have
that looks like they gave a really good 9-year-old Photoshop.
You know how in Google how you can type in like a movie or like a question
Sharkenstein? Yeah.
And how they go like people also ask ... Like, you can like
people also searched for.
Right. The first question on this little list for the VelociPastor is is the VelociPastor a real movie?
No, yeah, is Ouija Shark a real movie? On here too.
I do not blame anyone for asking that question.
Actually, whenever I looked up Killer Sofa, it said, is Killer Sofa a real movie too? I feel like everybody doesn't believe these bad movies are real.
And now we must bear the curse of this knowledge.
Here you go.
That it's real.
Did the VelociPastor make any money?
Oh, I wonder.
Since the movie...
With such a low budget, it's not hard, I guess.
Since the movie has had a limited screening, there are no significant box office figures to report on, but between streaming revenue and physical sales...
I thought this would have been like a straight-to-DVD. I didn't know it had a showing.
It seems the VelociPastor made enough money to justify turning it into a franchise.
Oh my God.
Because the VelociPastor 2 is officially happening.
Are you serious?
I keep seeing VelociPastor 2 every time I look it up.
Dude.
There you go.
That's why at the end of the
hot drop.
Oh God.
No, we have to watch that one eventually.
See, the rest of the Tremors films I could understand, but I don't know about VelociPastor 2, dude.
Oh yeah, there's still a bunch of Tremors we have to watch, isn't there?
Oh, there's at least 6 of them.
Oh yeah.
Well,
6.
Damn.
I think we just had to watch like 2. I thought there was like 2 more you guys want me to watch, not all. Well, all right.
I mean, in for a penny and for a pound.
Oh yeah. I mean, I really had to process what that meant for a second there because we don't.
I heard the dial-up sound.
Yeah, Peter. I had to shake the webs off there because pennies are no longer used at all.
Right.
So I was like, "What the penny?"
How much is a penny?
You said
worth?
in for a penny, in for a pound. I was like, in for a what?
Say that one more. Say that one more time, Dylan.
In for a penny and for a pound. Pennies.
There we go. Yeah. Right there. That was me.
I found it.
That was me. Look,
man.
Processing what the frig a penny is again. Oh man.
Oh jeez. I forgot how fucking weird and like kind of scary that shit sounds.
Oh
yeah,
dude,
no,
it's terrifying.
I called something the other day and it was a fax, so I got the dial-up sound directly in my ear, and I was like, man, childhood. And it was painful. Yeah, no, I got that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take these headphones off. If we don't.
That's just fucking creepy.
Dude, I like the. That's my favorite. That's my favorite noise. Say, everybody, drop in the chat what your favorite dial-up noise is. Yeah, mine's the be-doos. Yeah. That's my favorite one, guys. What's your favorite dial-up?
Mine's the elongated.
Oh yeah, just the fucking TV
Yeah,
static.
man. Yeah, team symbol. Hashtag gang.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wait, no team.
So to move on to the climax of this film.
Oh no, we're not moving. I don't need to move on to that. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
We're done.
The guy who started the episode saying 5 out of 5 stars is like, no, I don't want to talk about this movie anymore.
I'm done.
That's all we can muster.
Guys, if you want to watch it yourself,
we're not strong enough.
Here's what you do. If you want to watch it yourself, you have as many people who you know who drink booze over, okay?
Right.
And then you do literally anything except for sit on the couch and watch the movie. But the movie is on. There must be chips and dip. You pick the dip, okay?
Yeah.
Just come on. I can't really do with dairy right now because of my Crohn's, so we don't do chips and dip for me. I don't do cheese.
Do not do any sort of drinking game because someone will die.
No. So I don't do cheese. Like I do salsa, but you can pick what you want for the dip, okay? And then you could do a drinking game, but it can't be at the movie because the movie's not the star, okay?
Right.
The movie's on the background. And as you guys drink booze and play games,
jokes you make as you watch,
you look up and you keep thinking to yourself, "What the hell is on the TV?"
Right.
That is the only true way that you can watch this movie.
Oh yeah.
You want to know something interesting? Is I believe this film was actually filmed on actual film.
Really? Are you serious?
Yes, there are
the old reels.
Yeah, no, and
probably to save money.
The thing is, I don't believe the whole movie was shot in that. So you know how I was making
portions of it.
So you know how I was making jokes about how those really nice camera shots were like kind of random and different.
They had like two random nice cameras.
I'm pretty sure that those. I'm pretty sure those really nice solid shots that we saw that were
with
like
a completely different color grade.
With a completely different color grade was definitely.
You are shitting.
An old film camera.
They borrowed someone's camera for like 2 scenes.
My God.
Everything else was, I think, on just like a regular digital handy cam.
That had to have been just someone's iPhone. Again, I refuse to endorse anything else than someone's cousin Tommy, who's 13 years old. They're paying him with they're paying him with a beer, but no one knows it
because there's little
13.
things. There's little things in the film that I thought was funny, and I liked picking it out because I could
Right.
actually pick it out
Mhm.
was
The
there was
totally different leather jacket.
there
made
was
Matt
there's a couple
Yes.
of there's a couple
Dude,
of there's a
like-
couple of
like
random wardrobe
wildly
changes.
different leather jacket from when he put on.
Right.
But it is just subtle enough that if you're not really paying attention to it, sometimes
You'll miss it.
you'll
I could have missed it.
Right,
You're
right,
right,
right.
But
Yeah.
also, whenever I noticed it, I was like, it's so wildly different
fuck
than
did they
the last one.
change?
right. But there's one scene in particular where they're in the forest running around, and it is obviously shaky camera with a zoom lens,
Right.
Because they're tightening up, and then they're shakily zoom back out, and it's like, like oh my
Right.
god, it's making me sick just
Gonna
thinking
give you
about it.
vertigo.
Yeah, for real. And the color on it is very yellow green
Yeah.
hue. It's probably more natural, but what makes it feel so jarring is they go to these, they get close together like the actors do,
Yeah.
and they're kind of discussing with each other. And the camera has like I think it's the same camera probably, but they just
Yeah.
did like a couple takes of it. They do like over the shoulder of each actor, and it hard cuts to a more blue tone in the color, and it also has this wonderful, very, very wonderful, like washed out bokeh background,
Right.
where it's like it goes from like everything is in full sharpness, full exposure, shaking around with a zoom lens, like
Done by a 12-year-old.
Done by
So
a-
bad.
yeah. And then of course you get like they get real close to each other and kind of get intimate, talking about something real quick, and then you're like, oh my god, it almost like I feel like it slapped me in the
Yeah.
face.
Even an amateur could see that it was completely different quality.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but
It was
so,
like going from 144p
Yeah, yeah.
to like
1080.
1080. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not quite to the 4K area, but like
This
you're going
is
to 1080.
insane.
and there's a couple more times where they do that, where they may not have the same color, but I can tell that same camera gets snuck back out again. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I see you're using the nice one now.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
But
Tommy let you borrow his camera.
right. But I'm saying that because it says that after filming and before developing the film,
my
it was
God.
put in an oven and baked at 200 degrees Fahrenheit
What?
for 10 minutes to achieve an aged look in certain ones. So that kind of color I was talking about, maybe he may have cooked the film a little bit to give it that kind of that feel.
Why is he insane? What?
I don't know.
What the
The film is a feature-length adaptation of a 2010 Grindhouse trailer by the same director, which was made as a film school project, and it went viral. So
Oh
then he
my
made a movie
God.
out of it.
With a budget of $30,000.
You're right. Most,
Talk about a dream come true.
yeah.
He took out a business loan for this.
he took out a car loan.
He took out a personal loan. Yeah, he has good credit. He took out
Yeah.
a personal loan for this, and
Right.
I'm assuming it made his money back.
Oh,
It sounds to
100%.
me like he made
Yes.
his.
Enough
mean-
to warrant a sequel.
I'll be honest. He got our money in 37 minutes of our airtime, so
Most,
I guess he wins.
it's his most.
Damn it, guys! I think he wins.
most of the
the
scratches.
motherfucker tricked us.
The scratches on the film were achieved by the director Brendan by dragging the
Director, writer, and editor.
yes, by dragging the unprocessed film along the surface of his bathroom floor. And the only reason why he did that was
Movie
because
feels like it was
it was saying the only reason why. The only reason why he did that was because it was the only room in his apartment that didn't have any windows and therefore was dark enough to not actually expose and process the actual raw film.
Fucking with me.
But he wanted to give it those scratches to give it like a little bit of, I think, to like have those like cuts or whatever and those like weird moments.
At this point, I gotta commend the dude
Yeah.
for his effort. Like
he didn't
holy
have the
shit.
budget, but he had the heart. I
He
guess.
had the gumption.
Right, yeah. And I think that's why he made himself a challenge to make the cheapest budget movie ever with a budget of $300 Canadian
And
dollars.
it fucking
Supposedly, there's actually a podcast episode from the podcast, How Did This Get Made? And they actually like talk about this movie.
worked. That's fair.
Wow, that's also impressive. Yeah, he definitely got some hang time, some airtime on that one.
Wow.
During the flashback war sequence featuring Father
Yeah,
Stewart,
that one, yeah. I'm aware about it.
a quote on the shed behind him reads,
Something about kings and queens.
"Yeah, the world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams." A quote
My God.
from the Black Sabbath song "Heaven and Hell."
Oh my God, it is.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yes, there you go.
It's like one of my favorite
a
songs.
little teaser right there. Yeah.
Oh.
So, anyways,
That is. I mean, is there really like what else can we even say?
I just wanted to add a little bit of that fun fact right there. We can wrap up the actual conversation of the movie, but I thought it was funny, and I thought it warranted talking about those little fun facts because it is. I mean, obviously, we've spent the greater part of probably 30 to 40 minutes shitting on this movie, but it is funny.
It's well warranted.
It is funny in some regards, and again, I think, like I said, it is going into. It is going into it with the idea of it wanting to be like a pseudo bad film,
right?
So the fact that it gets a little hammy and like it is really heavy handed on some things, I don't really. It's bad, but at the same time, it would be harder if he was like, "This is, the best movie in the world." It's like, okay, well, if you're kind of going into this hoping that's going to be kind of
the correct way to watch is like I said, you have booze, you're doing something, and it's on in the background, and every once in a while, people are like, "What is on again?" And you're like, "Don't know," and you move on. You never tell them the name of it, right?
I'll be honest. After hearing about how
everyone pays attention when the VelociPastor scenes happen, because everyone's like, "Wait, when did the action happen?" But then they get confused,
right?
And then the movie ends.
There's also a random fight sequence where they start
and everyone's in their underwear. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And then at one point, ripped Dick Bulge Velma is there as well. At one point, he asks he asks his girl for something to wear, and she gives him one of her dresses, and it's orange. And I was like, he looks like a really shitty male Velma, but you can see his dick bulge because you can, and it made me very uncomfortable.
Oh no, my glasses.
Oh yeah. Oh no, my glasses.
I can't see without my glasses.
Oh man, it was.
Anyways,
violently uncomfortable.
After hearing about how some aspects of this, like the making of this film, it's kind of growing on.
It gets a point on you.
You see, that's what I mean.
It's endearing.
He didn't have the budget, but he had the heart. It's still bad, dude. It's
still bad.
The first, it's an hour and 10 minutes, like total. You can watch. Okay, like
right.
The last, maybe I'll give it more. So the last 15 minutes,
right?
I'll say last 20. We'll go in the middle. Last 20 minutes, kind of killed it. The first 40 minutes, pretty amusing. I enjoyed it. I'll be honest.
The funny thing is,
bad or not, I enjoyed it.
You have to also take into account, like I said, there's probably a good 15 to 20 minutes worth of montages that don't need to be there.
Exactly. No, I think the end of that montage we're talking about, the sex montage, is pretty much whenever it gets worse.
Yeah,
right? It's pretty much whenever I no longer enjoyed it. I think. Now I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure because that fight scene was weird the next day. So like maybe around there-ish. But again, first like 40 minutes of the movie, even though it was pretty bad, I was laughing and kind of enjoying it.
Right.
The last 20-ish minutes, I was like, man, it's not. It's what the jokes are they're not hitting anymore. They're not really funny. I don't know why. They're just not. Yeah. They're not there, and it didn't hit. It wasn't good anymore.
Right.
It's okay.
So. It's worth watching for 40. It's worth 40 minutes of your time.
Yeah,
no more.
Right.
Do not watch this alone.
Yeah, if you watch it alone in your room with popcorn, this is a 0 out of 10 star movie.
You may as well just be wasting time.
You got to have somebody who you can like crack jokes with.
It is actually unrated. It is actually not technically rated.
No, Ian. It was rated X.
I know.
What was it?
By a
something of Christian judges.
A full church of Christians.
It said by a something of Christian judges. That was it. It's rated X.
Well, that is what it claims in the opening sequence, but on Google it actually is not technically rated at all.
We can make
it's okay. It's good for kids. The blood is clearly fake. It's all clear. There's no titty. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I have definitely seen
unrated
PG-13 movies from the 80s that were worse than this.
I've seen PG-13 movies today that are worse than this. Come on, man. This is nothing.
Right. I think PG-13 movies now are a little bit softer.
They are, but still.
Oh, definitely.
Because in PG-13 in the 80s, you could see some titties.
Oh yeah.
Well, no,
hands down.
Exactly. But I've seen PG-13 movies today that are more hardcore than this.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
Like, so I'm just like, whatever. Like,
it's rough.
Because they get one F word, and they never use it, like ever.
One.
Right? They never really use it, or the ones that can use it, you're like, oh, why didn't they?
Right.
But still, like this movie, it probably had a few F words. Not the point. It just wasn't. There was nothing. There was nothing bad.
The crazy thing is, this came out in 2017.
Oh.
So.
Ouija Shark to follow.
Yeah.
I think that was 2019.
That's gonna hurt. That one's gonna.
It's actually been 5 years now.
That one might kill me. Fucking
Well,
Ouija shark.
One thing I want to say.
I don't think we should watch Ouija Shark for the podcast. It might be the first one.
That one's for us.
Yeah, it might be the first one that we don't finish. And I was saying to Dylan, I was like, what if this is the first movie that we just can't finish? We're gonna do a podcast.
Real close.
We're gonna talk about in the first 2 minutes it got close.
Right.
Because afterward, like I said,
It was real bad.
The
It was-
VFX car
exactly.
was a
the
real turn
that
off.
VFX thing was so disappointing that it was almost and I was like, we're gonna have to do a whole podcast episode about how we turned it off and then just freaking talk about life.
Right.
Yeah.
for 45 for another 43 minutes because it's like we're gonna sit there and be like, it was so bad that we stopped watching it. Don't
Right.
watch it. And because
Stay away.
and the problem is, like, again, I'm the guy who like didn't really like Alien. So like one guy disliking movies one thing, but if all three of us were like, it's bad, and we're all sitting here like,
yeah.
That'll
No.
be a first.
every last one of us is like, this is bad, don't watch it.
Yeah.
like that's
This came real close, but it
we thought it was bad funny. It's just bad.
really we really stuck with it.
Anyways, as I was wanting to get started on talking about was you came over yesterday, Ethan, and
Yesterday.
started talking. Yes, yesterday. Yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Yes, you did.
You came. Anyways, you came
Yeah.
over yesterday, and you started up a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah,
shit.
I was like, I wasn't here yesterday. I was totally.
I just wanted to. I just wanted to.
I
we
lied.
don't have probably much time to talk about it, but I do want to just tiptoe on that because it is very fun that we have been cracking open.
That's
that-
an old game. It's
that
still,
old
it's
chest.
still good though. It's still a really good game.
Holds up.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of fun. It's quirky and weird.
It's
and
hilarious.
It has its own fun. The thing is, it's with the right guys. Sitting here playing that game with you and with Dylan, and Ethan's at the helm. He's piloting the game.
Super fun.
But the thing is, we're just having our own fun, just cracking jokes while we're playing it, and it is
Oh yeah.
Every one of
most-
Donald's voice lines.
Oh, it's so
They're
funny.
perfect.
Every time.
It definitely fits like what Neopets does, the Darkest Fairy. How
In
it's
a
like-
much better way.
in
Because
a-
the game's like better in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. But the thing I like about the little Neopets game is, as cringe as it is, everyone's sitting there cringing at this game together. But we're also all like,
I'm kind of having fun though.
No, exactly.
Right.
Everyone's sitting there and they're all like, it's so cringe, but like, low key, it's a pretty good game.
Right.
It's actually kind of fun though.
Everyone's like more mad at it because you're like,
Why the fuck is it so good?
exactly. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's like actually a kind of half decent RPG for being made by Neopets.
Can we give I know this doesn't actually qualify in the same bracket, but can we give Neopets the Darkest Fairy a Yancey Award?
for gaming.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Gaming
the
Yance
gaming.
Award.
We'll give it a
The
little
Gaming
honorary,
Yance Award.
Right.
a little honorarium.
No, but it fits the category for that. I mean,
Oh,
in a
yeah.
gaming, because like, you just think it's going to be bad, and it's not. What was the one that Total Biscuit always talked about? It was like it was the Burger King stealth game.
Oh my
or
god,
whatever.
yes, Sneak
Yeah,
King.
Stealth
yeah,
game.
Sneak King. That's what it's
Uh-huh.
called. I just remember Total Biscuit. I don't know anything about it. I just remember Total Biscuit in like a podcast that was probably one of those really old podcasts.
Oh,
episodes.
yeah.
I remember talking about how like
2010.
games that are old and should not be good, but like they still are. And in that podcast episode, I thought about Neopets. I was like,
Yes,
yeah, it's a pretty
yes,
it's a pretty
yeah.
old game, but it's half decent. And then he was like, I always think about the Burger King video game. It's a Burger King game, has no right to be good, but it was a half decent stealth game. Or
Yeah.
He said something along those lines. Like, I don't know, pull the clip up, Jerry.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, no, I can't think of other games that really fit the category. Like, apart from that one, like, is there Dylan, any game you could think of that's like old that shouldn't
There's
be
probably
good?
more, but it's just thinking about it
Off the
here.
top of your head, it's
yeah,
kinda
it's
what I was
hard to
I
think
won't
about.
say it's good, but it's definitely a guilty pleasure game of mine. Is Advent Rising.
I actually don't think I've ever heard of it.
I've heard of
man.
it, but I've only heard it because of what you have said
Right.
so far.
As far as I know, I'm the only person that knows of it.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah, right,
For
right.
the Nonsense Award.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I've never met anyone else who knows what that game is.
I feel like I've heard the name probably from you, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I've
Right.
never heard of it otherwise.
Yeah.
So
Right. But anyways, I grew up off of the original Kingdom Hearts, and I loved it. And
they're
I
like
I
classic
remember,
games at this point. I feel
Oh,
like
I remember
their popularity's risen.
I will never
pretty
forget.
Mhm.
I'll never forget going over to my friend's house, and he got like an allowance of like $20 or something like $20 or $30. We went to the local Walmart and got to buy ourselves a video game. And
Back when they costed less than $100.
Back
Yeah,
whenever they
no
costed
kidding.
$30 or whatever, and we bought it with
What a
cash.
fucking
And
time.
they were given $1.50, and they got 2 dozen eggs and a carton of milk and had change
Yeah,
for their mom
yeah.
when they got back.
I got a Sony Pop and
Yeah.
a gumball.
Yeah, it was- we're acting like he's 85 now.
Right.
Yeah, a youthful 85.
Yeah,
I
right,
should
right.
know this.
I'm a spring 60. And,
He's retired. That's
Yeah.
why we did the podcast.
No. So anyways, as I was saying, we looked at like the case full of games, and one that we saw that was on there that we didn't know what it was
Disney
Kingdom
Channel.
Hearts. Disney Channel original movie. No.
Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Disney Channel original video game.
We saw Kingdom Hearts, which had like Final Fantasy characters, Disney characters, and I was like, I know what Final Fantasy is. I'm not very good at
How
it.
did they mix that?
But
I
I-
have to know now.
Well, and so the thing is, I was so curious, and like we were like, I think we got it out of the case. We were able to like look at it and like check it out or whatever. And he was like, "This is the game I want to buy," and I was like, "Me too. I want you to buy that too."
And I was like, bold.
And then we started it up in his bedroom, and I'll never forget the music started, the opening
Honestly,
sequence
yeah,
where he's
the-
like falling
the
down.
opening
Yeah.
is pretty hardcore.
Dude, I remember watching that and,
And
was like,
if you don't spend 30 minutes on the island kicking Titus's ass like
yeah,
like I always do to
Yeah.
grind for skin.
yeah.
If you don't spend that long, you can get through the first island area pretty quick and get to the part where things get hardcore fast.
Yeah.
And like you're like start freaking out. So like as a kid, if you don't waste time, which you wouldn't, because you're like, what's going on? New game,
Right.
Like you're not just gonna spend forever. And if you do, you're enjoying every second of it, like I am.
Right.
But like you get to the point where it gets hardcore quick. So like it does pick up in a really good way. That as a kid you'd get hooked.
Oh, dude, and hooked I did.
Yeah, right.
Because this is the point of the story that I was really
Yeah.
hyping up here. As I remember coming home to my brother Eric and you,
Mm-hmm.
and being like, guys, you'll never guess what I saw.
Worth
And-
noting, I don't remember any of this because I was probably too young.
but probably so.
Because I remember
But I
playing this game
remember-
growing up. I don't remember how I got turned on to it.
I
Other than
remember-
Ian played it first.
I remember having them as a captive audience as I'm sitting here acting out this scene of like this huge spherical stained glass column that you're standing on with this shadow beast or
Right.
whatever, and then Donald and Goofy show up out of nowhere. And
Shadow
you're like,
Beast
whoa.
who kicked my ass in the tutorial.
So
I played on proud mode and had one defense because I picked the wrong
nice.
thingies. I sacrificed the shield, and the dark side killed me
Oh, God.
in the tutorial. The second time he didn't, but the
Right.
first time he destroyed me.
So, but I just remember I remember loving that game.
Yeah, and I remember growing up on it. Like I said, I didn't know anything about it. I don't remember how, because I guess again I was too young, or it was just it's a core memory, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
like it just I remember that Ian played it first, and that he's the reason that I got into it. And I remember like, growing up playing it and doing dumb stuff and not being great. And I remember not for the longest time not wanting to play Kingdom Hearts 2 alone. Or not
Yeah.
wanting to beat Kingdom Hearts 2, like get to the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 alone, because even though I could do everything else and I was really good at the game, I never thought I couldn't understand this fight because I was young, so I could never do it on my own. So if I wanted to watch the end cinematic, I had to grab one of my brothers to help me beat the game, until eventually I realized that fight's not that hard, and I just beat the game on my own, and that was when I realized that I'm gonna do everything in this game. I've since
Yeah.
beat all of the hard bosses in the second game before
Mhm,
now.
mhm.
I beat Sephiroth on my own. I beat the Lingering Will. It was kind of a scummy way of killing him, but I did beat him.
Yeah.
I got the little golden crown for all the data people, and also I have to do 3 things for the golden crown. I forgot what they were, but I got the golden crown on my save. So I've done everything, but like as a kid,
Well
I was like,
acquainted.
yeah, exactly. The second one's probably my favorite. I just now started playing the third one a bit late, so no reviews yet because I'm like a world in, but
Right.
actually no, one review, combat fun.
Yeah, right.
But
But anyways,
oh man, trip down memory lane though. The first
Yeah.
one. Oh man.
I just remember like I said, I remember
Also, Dylan's never played these games.
No, I played
Oh,
a little bit
man.
of the first one, but I never got too far into it.
Not as far as
Oh,
we already are. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
dude. I loved the game so much that I used to play it and I used to hold on to my discs for it because I liked to have them if I ever wanted to play it. And the problem was that my brother would always want to play it or just take it and like just hold on to it to like play it whenever he wanted to as well. And so I got really creative in trying to hide it sometimes because I was like, I just remember like always having those moments where I was like, I love this game so much, and I always want to have it like available. And if it was ever like taken and like put somewhere else, or I think one time it got
Beads
scratched.
of sweat would start to
Yeah,
rise
the
down your
universe,
I think
brain.
it was one time where I think one of my original copies of Kingdom Hearts, like the original one, got messed up somehow because of, again, just accidents happen or whatever.
Right.
But I just remember being like really sad because I was like, oh man, you're just messing up my game.
Damn.
Right. I couldn't. This sounds like brothers. This sounds like something we would do. Couldn't remember if it's me or Eric or maybe both of us.
Probably.
Unintentionally, secretly working together somehow to do. But this sounds like something we would do gring up.
But
but again, don't remember. I just remember playing the shit. Out of these games.
Oh yeah.
Probably because they were stolen hot property.
Right.
Didn't know it.
That's okay. But you know what the fun thing is? Well, a lot of times you were in my room, so a lot of times we would play it together in my room, or like we would just be in the same place.
I remember quite a few times. This is a normal, maybe a bit Gen, maybe showing up a bit Gen Z,
Right.
Or I don't know, the one younger, the millennials. I forget which
Yeah,
one
right,
they are.
right. Z.
Yeah, it's
Whatever the
Z,
fuck
not
you
X.
are.
Yeah, no, but yeah. So it may be a bit Gen Z of me, but I also remember playing on the PS2, and my dad would always go to work at the same time in the morning because he he worked as a medic, and so I remember playing the game, right, and then I would as it would get, his alarm was so loud, right?
Yeah.
And so his alarm would go off.
It was one of those
and-
old fashioned, was like,
which he needs because he's trying to wake up, like gotta wake up, right?
Right.
And so I would like cover the PlayStation. Whenever I heard his alarm, as soon as I heard it, I would cover the PlayStation so that you couldn't hear the fan.
yeah.
And then I would turn my TV off so that there's no audio and you couldn't see the light lighting up. So then I would just lay down and act like I was asleep. And he would almost, not every night, but he would almost every night, he would like undo the curtain, or when I had a door, because I had a curtain for a while. He would like move the curtain or open the door and just check my room to see if me and my brother were asleep, because me and my brother Eric shared a room. And briefly he would leave, and as soon as I heard the door shut to the house, I'd be like, all right, back to
All
gaming.
right, here we go, boys.
I remember in the summer,
Yes.
so many times,
Yes.
getting
You
so
and I-
far in that game.
You and I, there was
acting like I was.
there was one time you and I played through a shit ton of Kingdom Hearts, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger,
Yeah.
and we also played co-op on.
No, I remember we beat
on-
Ratchet Deadlocked in like one night.
Oh my God, one sitting.
But I got caught by Dad. I got in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Dad was like, "Go the hell to sleep," and I was
Yes,
like, "Yes, sir."
no, but I'm talking about the one time that we played.
Actually, I think he was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because I was like in the corner, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
being awake," and he was like, "Oh, it was so
No,
much
we
fun.
we played one of the complete sagas of Lego Star Wars,
Oh man,
and we played the hell out of that.
my man, we could kick some ass.
Oh
on
yeah,
Lego Star Wars,
yeah,
bro.
dude. But anyways, so like as I was saying, those were all like fun core memories. But
Damn,
I got
we
smart
gotta get
enough-
Lego Star Wars on Steam and play it, bro.
Yes, you're right. We do.
I could do a podcast with that just in the background.
Yeah.
I made the joke that while I was kicking Titus's ass on the island, I was like, we should do a podcast episode, but I'm just playing this in the background, commenting on how I'm kicking Titus's ass. Like, I was like, I just keep playing it, and I'm like, oh yeah, the movie was great. Yeah, take that, nerd. Right?
Right.
Oh, man.
but I remember I got smart enough and saved up enough money, and then I just bought a new
Another copy.
Yeah, so I always have one copy set aside for myself. But one of the funny things that I thought the joke really landed well with me, because it just came to me and I couldn't stop myself. Whenever you guys were trying to decide on what the name of the ship was going to be.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to the name, let me just say, in order to get the name, for those of you who don't know or don't remember, in order to get your first ship named, which you can just rename your ship. That's the weak sauce way of doing it.
Right.
Whenever
Yeah.
you race Riku on the island, he says, let's think of a name for the raft. Winner picks the name. He says Highwind. If you lose the race, which you normally do because he's hard to beat, then your first ship is automatically named the Highwind, and you have to rename it. And I was like, I'm not going to let that man win. So I had to
Right.
keep reloading to re-race him until we got the name. Finish your story.
so we were all talking about different names, and they kind of had spitballed some funny ideas.
I forgot
And
which
then-
ones. I was
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah. There was some interesting ones and some funny kind of like quippy ones or whatever. And then I just chuckled for a second because for some reason it just came to me, and I was like, "Fug."
He then clarified with two G's.
Yeah, I was like with 2 G's, and I just thought it was funny. I was like, just call it and then you guys ended up like
The
colla-
HMS.
No, he
Yeah,
said that it had to be Her Majesty's ship, and I was like, okay. So it's now my ship in the game is, because I told them, I was like, listen, if we're doing this, you guys can name the ship,
Bug
but I
or
just have
bust.
to win. Yeah, I have to win the race, right? And they were like, okay, you better win that race, kid, because we're going to call it the HMS Bug. And now my gummy ship is called that. We've now traveled to several worlds in the HMS Bug. It's got more rockets on it now.
Yeah.
It's
It
more
is,
powerful than ever.
Slowly setting sail.
Oh, man.
But anyways, like I said, we're having some fun with that, and I can't wait to play some more of that. And
I can't wait to get to I can't wait to show Dylan the second game. There's so many more mini games and like fun little shits to do in the second game.
I like combat more in the second game.
I mean, it's cleaner. It's so much cleaner, and there's like forms. But I just like all the different mini games you can do and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and all the different like challenges there are that like I love to do. I can't wait to show. Also, because it's like my favorite Kingdom Hearts game, and I've played a few of the like outlying ones as well.
Yeah.
And even though I really liked Birth by Sleep, and these are all good games, and so far 3 is good, the combat's good, 2 has a special place in my heart. It's probably the best. So like, I can't wait for us to, even though I'm having a great time playing 1, can't wait for us to beat it and move on to 2, so I can show you how long the tutorial world is. But still,
I'm well aware.
Yeah, okay, you do know that at least. Twilight Town takes forever. How much do you know about the second game? Have you played any of it?
I have watched a couple. Okay, so I've watched both playthroughs that Oni NG on YouTube.
Okay.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen the first one, but I did get through the second one.
Okay, so you kind of know how the story goes in the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But still, I can't wait for you to get. It's not all as new for you, maybe, but if we're playing it together, maybe it'll feel a little bit new.
It's been long enough that I'm a little overdue for like reacquainting.
But still, like maybe playing it might feel a little bit new, and also like I'm gonna try and do a little bit of my completionist-y stuff on the second one with you.
Yeah.
On the first one, I'm not gonna try as much because I never really got into the. It's a little bit harder to do. They set up the journal in a way so that the completionist kind of vibe works better in the second game, and they did even better with that in like Birth by Sleep. Like if you're trying to be a completionist, like the game helps you out with that. Like okay, like here's what you're missing on these worlds. Like go find these things.
Yeah,
right. Where it's like rather than in the first game where it's like nope,
figure it out.
you're not. The game's just like you're not there yet. That's it. You know, like so it's a little bit harder in the first game. I just never had the really dedication. Like once you get to the end and do a lot of the extra stuff, you feel like you did enough, and I feel like that's just
right.
And so it's like I usually just leave it there for the first one, but the second one straight never gets old. Right? I'm just I'm do everything.
I want to talk more about this and like have a whole podcast where we like
really go in. We just did like half an episode.
What I'm talking about is like more about this. Like I want to talk about more games. I want to kind of get in depth with some. I want to actually have some like playthrough ones where we're actually like playing the game as we're talking about it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It kind of was a little reminiscent of us kind of playing some games again. And I was like, oh, this is just so nostalgic and fun.
Freaking love it. Freaking love it.
Dude.
Big fun game.
And then I conked out, dude. I was so exhausted. I did not mean to, but
it's fine.
Dude, so it was approximately midnight. Ripe hours for the Aftermath crew, and so it was like midnight.
I've been playing for like a couple hours at this point. Still.
So
like, I've been here for a bit.
I had like dozed off for a bit. I think Ethan ended up leaving at 1 a.m. I had fallen asleep by that point, and then no lie, dude, this morning, because you were here last night doing all that.
Yeah.
This morning, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. I was like, where am I?
On the couch.
On the couch. It was pitch black. And I was like, holy shit, where am I? And I was like, I did not mean it. Felt like I literally just laid my head down, kind of closed my eyes for a second. I was like, oh, I don't need to fall asleep anymore. Oh, what time is it? And then I was like, it's been 4 hours. I'm like, oh my God, dude. So then I carried my ass back to bed. Went to sleep.
That's funny.
Anyways.
Done that before.
Yes. So anyways, if you're looking for us, you can type in linktree/Ian Wolf, and you can find all of our links there that you can contact with us, and you can find out where we are all over the internet and whatnot. You can just type in The Aftermath on all the major podcasting platforms and all that good stuff. But we hope you have a fun time.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Go out there, watch a movie.
Maybe not VelociPastor,
play a game.
But a movie.
Probably not VelociPastor.
Yeah, maybe pick a different one, but
Yeah. But
take our word for it.
But until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See you.
Bye-bye.